this episode of Make It Work Garage, I'm going to show you how to make a pressure tester, or boost leak tester, or anything you want to fill up with air and check for leaks. We're going to do that today. First thing you do, get some PVC caps for whatever size tubing you want to do. I am going to pressure test the coolant pipes, or water pipes I made to put the rear mount radiator in the rover, because I have about 27 feet of this stuff with quite a few welds and pie cuts, and if there's a pinhole in any one of them, I really don't want to find it after it's all installed on the car, painted, and at that point, because I'm so lazy, I'll probably just JB weld it instead of actually weld it like I should. So if I can find it right now and fix it right, that's what I want to do. Step 1. Get the pipe, or get the cap, like I said earlier, that matches whatever piece of tubing or plumbing, piping, anything you want to pressure test. So this is the closest thing I could get. So all we're going to do is drill a hole in here, put a Schrader valve, like what's in your car tire, in it, which I have somewhere over here. I just had them not that long ago. I got a baggie of them. Where'd I put them? Found them! I was looking right at them. I just didn't put my hand in the cookie jar. Cookie jar. Valve stems. Schrader valves. Valve stem caps. Tire valves. Wheel valves. Just valves. So, we'll measure the diameter of this down here on the bottom, where it would go through a wheel. Then I'll drill a hole slightly smaller than that to go in here. Then I'll put some silicone RTB on it, pull it through. One side done, other side. Drill and tap for 1/8" pipe, and thread a old fuel pressure regulator gauge I got into the other end. So you'll just put a coupler on one end with a gauge, cap on the other end with a Schrader valve, apply air pressure until the gauge goes to whatever pressure you want to test it to. Now, being it's a fuel pressure gauge, it goes to like 100 psi. I'm not trying to push these to 100 psi. I have a 28 to 32 psi radiator cap is what I use on the rover. So, put 30 pounds of pressure in it and see if it drops, or see if I can find any leaks. You can either spray it with water, or I might even fill up the bathtub and just submerge it underwater. It may let you know really quick either you're going to see bubbles or you're not. I'll tell you where it's at too. Gauge I'll use to read the pressure, I'm only going to be going up to like 20, so not the best gauge to use, but for what I'm doing, it'll work. Throw some Teflon tape on it. Now, just take the cap that we ran the 3/8 pipe thread in. Already ran a tap in it. Crank her on in there. There you go. One side done. I will apply some of this to this guy around the edge where it's going to seal, right there. There we go. I'm probably going to let that dry, even though I really want to pressurize it right now. Take that back, I'm really impatient. I'm going to try it right now. But if it does leak, I'm going to say because it didn't wait for that to dry is probably why it did. Impatient me, I can't even wait a day to see if to let the actual sealant and RTB dry. So I'm gonna try to pressure it up right now, see what happens. If anything, it should be pushing it to even a tighter seal, but who knows. 20 psi. Now I'll just listen for leaks, or if I'm really picky, I can dunk this part in the sink that's got all the welds on it, and just see if I see any bubbles. Once again, because I'm impatient, go fill up the sink. So we're here in my kitchen. Now we're gonna dunk the water pipe in the sink. See if it leaks. So that end is definitely okay. I see a bubble or two up around the coupler, which isn't a big deal. I just probably need to make it a little tighter. There's definitely nothing leaking from the welded spots. Do a couple others, this way I can take them to work. Just hit them with some Scotch-Brite, spray them black, and I can actually bolt them to the rover and at least leave them there. Having that big old pile of what looks like junk just sitting there in the room just looks bad. Now you guys seen it? That's how you make a pressure tester for anything. You want to do it for 2-inch intercooler piping. Buy 2-inch end caps. 3-inch intercooler piping. Buy 3-inch end caps. Same thing. You're just going to drill a hole, put a little Schrader valve in it if you want, or however you want to do it. You put a gauge on the other side if you want. You don't have to. If you're dunking underwater, you really don't have to. You just got to cap it. I just like this because 2 of those pipes are like 8 feet long and I can't fit them in the sink. I really don't want to put them in the bathtub. So for that, I can pressurize it. And because I've had both ends of this under the water now, I know this doesn't leak. So I can pressurize it, leave it for 10 minutes, come back. If it's still holding the same pressure it was, it's not leaking. And I don't have to worry about dunking it underwater or anything like that. So that's why I like to have the gauge. You can do it with a Schrader valve and then just use a tire pressure gauge and click it, but every time you push it on and off, obviously it's going to move the pressure a little bit. But really doesn't matter, I guess. If you leave it sitting there for a while and it's still got, relatively close to what it did, it's not leaking. I mean, in terms of intercooler piping, if it can hold 20 psi or something like that for 10 minutes, it ain't enough of a leak for you really to need to worry about. So, hope you learned something. Hopefully it'll help some of you guys pressure test some stuff versus having to pay someone to do it. Or if you think you got problems, I mean, this cost me all of like $5, a couple of caps, and if you don't have any little Schrader valves laying around, you can get them anywhere. Auto parts store, Walmart, Meijer, whatever. So you'd have $7 in it and some time. See you guys next time. That's it for today. Happen if I pumped a pipe up to 160 psi? Well, what pressure do you think could blow up? No, I'm not going to do it.